On tonight's RO Sports Show Silver Edition, Oakland A's pitching coach Scott Emerson is going to be in the studio to talk about the Home Run Derby, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and the first half of the regular season. The guys are going to be on the desk with the Ross Rundown, talking about a plethora of sports, including Manny Pacquiao's win over the weekend. The British Open starts today, and the World Cup has a new champion. We're also going to be taking a look at the upcoming ACC football season, as well as a lot of NASCAR news, including myself and Russell's trip this past Saturday to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Plus, our big impacts of the week, love it or hate it, and so much more. The RO Sports Show Silver Edition is up to bat right now. Good evening and welcome to the RO Sports Show Silver Edition. Of course, brought to you by First Health Orthopedics. And we're calling it the Silver Edition because this is our 25th show. So we thought we'd pull out all the stops and bring in Oakland Athletics pitching coach Scott Emerson. Scott, we appreciate you joining us again. Also on the desk with us from last week, Joey Bennett. We're here to talk some baseball. So some of the things that we are going to talk about tonight, Joey, you and I mentioned last week. So, of course, as I was mentioning before we came on, when you've got a friend of the show that is on the major league level, you try to use that as much as you can. So, we, of course, want to get your opinion on some things, Scott. But first off, let's start with the All-Star and the All-Star festivities. Let's start with the Home Run Derby. Of course, as we know now, Bryce Harper won the Home Run Derby in comeback fashion over the Cubs' Kyle Schwarber. He was actually down 18-9 in the final round, went deep 9 times in 10 swings to tie it at the end of the regulation. Of course, hit a bomb there at the end in overtime to win it. Now, of course, he defeated my man Freddie Freeman 13-12 in the first round on his way there. Defeated Max Muncy from the Dodgers, also 13-12 in the second round. Now, Harper has 23 home runs. He's got 54 RBIs to start the season. He's also batting .214. So I guess my question first to you, Scott, is the power numbers are obviously there, but he's obviously going to have to increase his batting average if the Nationals want to get anywhere this year, right?
Well, it's more about run production. I mean, you look at these guys that are dangerous. It's how many runs can he score and how many RBIs can he have. Batting average is just a byproduct. You could go 3 for 4 and lose the game and hit 3 bloopers. So, most of these guys, the big-time players, are looking for RBIs and they're looking for runs scored. So, the batting average can become a kind of a skewed stat, and in the aspect that it's all about scoring runs and being productive at the plate in creating runs.
Okay. And Joey, for this next one, I'm going to start with you and get both of your opinions. But obviously the number $400 million, as in dollars, has been thrown out there as far as Bryce Harper is concerned. First of all, do you think Bryce, or any player for that matter, is worth that much money? And do you think he'll end up leaving D.C. by the time this is all said and done?
I'm hard pressed on the number. Numbers, kind of thrown around. A lot of different things to a lot of different people. I kind of feel like he'll probably end up leaving the Nationals. I don't think they can afford him. There are too many big market teams out there that I think would love to have him. I will have to say, just as the announcer said at the end of the Home Run Derby a couple of nights ago, it would be really hard for him to leave right now, but right. We'll see what the end of the season. It would be hard for me to be trading Bryce Harper right now with the way he was the figurehead for that whole week. But a lot of season left, especially I see him staying throughout the season and riding out whatever happens to the Nationals.
I do too, and I don't necessarily see the Nationals trading him. I was thinking more along the lines of free agency. What do you think, Scott? First of all, $400 million, that's an astronomical number, isn't it?
Well, I think any time that a player can get a lot of money, that's good for the player. Sure. But I think organizations have to decide what's good for their team. Exactly. And $400 million is a big number to one guy on the team. So I'm sure the Nationals and other teams in baseball will be looking at the number 400 and thinking, how can we use that money to spend on the team? And at the end of the day, it's a team game. And what's best for each organization is how the team can win. And if that's adding Bryce Harper for $400 million, somebody's going to do that.
Do you think he'll end up leaving D.C.?
It's nobody really wants to leave the place that they feel comfortable with, and that's a very high number. But I'm sure he'd leave if somebody gives him that.
Right. Show me the money, right?
Show me the money is right, I guess.
If he gets
but
one more contract in Washington, I don't see there being more than one contract after this.
Yeah.
I do think Washington's a pretty big market, though. I mean, they've spent a lot of money on some players, and they got a good team. And, sometimes you see guys letting big-time players leave, and then they're trying to find big-time players.
Right.
And then if you can keep your big-time players, that keeps the fans happy. And actually the players, they feel a lot better staying in a comfortable environment.
Now, speaking of DC, of course, that's where the All-Star game was. It was the 89th Midsummer Classic. And I really thought that this All-Star game was indicative of where baseball is right now. Now, it ended in an 8-6 score, excuse me, in 10 innings. There were 10 home runs hit in this game. Now, the record before this was 6, which was set a few times, the most recent in 1971. But a lot of strikeouts, a lot of home runs. Scott, I mean, again, the question is this kind of where baseball is right now?
Well, the players are getting paid on homers.
Right.
So they're up there trying to hit home runs. There's controversy whether the ball is juiced, the bats might be harder, the ballparks are getting smaller. I honestly think what's good for the game is get back to hitting and being able to hit. We talked about the average earlier, being able to maybe create a batting average and keeping balls in play with less strikeouts. The reason why there's more strikeouts is because hitters are trying to hit home runs. And what comes with homers are big swings. That means the hitters have big holes in their swings, which mean our guys as pitchers can exploit those holes a lot better. And it's just getting back to the aspect of playing the game, playing that little small ball, playing hit, get yourself a hit and creating runs. And if the game doesn't go back to that, you're going to see home runs and strikeouts just keep on rising.
Right. And that's going to be it.
Yeah, the numbers are going to keep going up. Now, like I mentioned, it was an 8-6 score. The last 2 runs were by Astros, back-to-back. Alex Bregman and George Springer both hit back-to-back home runs. Now, obviously, these are 2 guys that you know very well. So to that aspect, how good are the Astros?
I can tell you firsthand, the Astros are the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
And, we got our work cut out for us over the rest of the season, but they got power, they got speed, they got great starting pitching, they got a good solid bullpen. When you got Springer and Bregman and Altuve, you didn't even mention Altuve,
right.
and Correa and Gaddis has come along. I mean, this team is solid. They hit for power. They got a guy on first base. They hit a ground ball with less than 2. It's hard to turn a double play with them because they run it out. And then they got the best starting pitching in baseball. They got 5 guys that potentially could win a Cy Young in their starting rotation. So hats off to them. But we're going to do the best we can to go after them.
Sure, and we're going to get to that here in just a second. Sorry,
had to wipe a little tear from my eye last night seeing Charlie Morton in an
Yes.
All-Star game.
Absolutely.
Former Brave
Former
there.
Brave, yeah.
But good to see he's done so well for himself.
Now, something that's happened since our last show was Manny Machado. Now, I don't think this is officially gone through, but it's pretty much everything but gone through. Machado, of course, going to end up being an L.A. Dodger. Now, it seems like we're going to talk about AL dominance overall in the first half here to begin with, but it seems like the NL doesn't really have a team that's run away with it. Now that Machado is potentially going to the Dodgers, is LA that team now?
I think it'll make a difference for them. I don't know that they'll run away with it, so to speak. I think they'll definitely see a difference if they get a couple of those injury guys back. I think they'll probably be the top of the league or top of the division rather. I can't see him running away with it as such. There'll be a lot of adjustment for him. I think going to the National League, a lot of different ins and outs, and him just learning a new city, learning a new area, be a little bit of an adjustment. But I think he'll be great for any team. But I'm glad he's going to the West Coast.
Right.
There was a little bit of fear of him going to the Phillies there.
Yeah, there was
for a
talk
hot
about
minute,
that,
a couple of days. So was sweating that out. But it'd be interesting, I think.
What do you think, Scott? I mean, is that going to be the tipping point now?
Well, I think he's a dynamic player. He's one of those guys that plays up the middle, and not only is he a good defender, but he's an excellent hitter. So he's going to make any ball club that he gets traded to
better,
a lot better. And the adjustment period might be a day. I mean, this guy's a superstar. It's a pitcher on the mound. It's him playing shortstop. He's not going to. The limelight in LA is not going to affect this guy at all, or in Philly.
Sure. Now, as we were talking about the dominance of the American League so far, and I wanted to pull up if I can find it here. As of right now, the Boston Red Sox are 68-30. Houston 64 and 35. The Yankees 62 and 33. The Mariners right behind them at 58 and 39. You guys right behind them at 55 and 42. And I was looking at it. If you guys were plugged into the National League, y'all actually have the second best record right now. So I guess in a couple of sentences, what's the deal with? I mean, why is the AL? Are they just that much better than the NL this year?
I just think it's a little coincidence, the schedule, some teams haven't played each other yet, and so we'll balance that out. You'll see in September. But, when you got powerhouses like the Red Sox and the Yankees, and then the Astros built themselves into a premier team, those teams are always going to be solid. They can spend their money and get players. So they're going to be solid the rest of the way. The National League, I think, when you go and play in the American League and the interleague play, without the pitcher or with the pitcher, it's a whole different ball game. And the American League might have an advantage in the American League Park with the DH, and the National League teams might have an advantage hitting the pitcher. But I just think it's coincidence. The teams are most teams in the major leagues, in my opinion, are pretty well balanced.
Right.
All of them. There's not much a difference. It's just sometimes about that start and pitching and that lucky break during the game that propel the team to the next level. So, I mean, a couple of years ago, we lost 39 one-run ball games. We win half of those. We're in the playoffs.
Sure.
And we're last place, but we had 39 one-run losses. So, it's a hard game to play. But every game is close, and it's just that little extra push that every team needs to win ball games.
So another couple of things that Joey and I were talking about last week were any surprises that we had noticed so far in the first half. I know a couple of teams we brought up. One was the Seattle Mariners, especially after losing Cano to a PED suspension. They've stayed right in it. One for myself was the Nationals, the fact that they're still sitting around 500 this late in the season. What about you? Any team or specific player that surprised you so far?
Well, I think our team has surprised a lot of people. We were predicted to win 76 games, and right now we've won 55 games. And, we're surprising some people. Seattle surprised some people, but not myself. Seattle's got a good ball club. They got good pitching. They got a good bullpen. They got one of the best closers in the game.
Right.
Their lineup is really good. D. Gordon leading it off. He's a pain up there. He's just a tough out to get. And Segura with the homer in the All-Star game, he's tough. And then Nelson Cruz is one of the elite hitters I've ever seen. It seems like he never hits the ball on the ground. He's trying to hit a homer or a fly ball. So, but I think our team has surprised most of baseball, and hopefully we can keep doing that the rest of the way.
And then, again, something we mentioned last week were who we thought would be our MVPs, our Cy Youngs. A couple of names that were thrown out were Max Scherzer, of course, started last night. Chris Sale, the other starter, was a guy that you threw out there. As far as MVPs, I can't remember who we threw out there. Do you remember what the names were?
I don't right off.
It's the typical guys. I think Arenado was
yeah.
one that was thrown out there. What about yourself? MVP picks, Cy Young picks so far?
JD Martinez.
Well,
JD Martinez, Mookie Betts.
Sometimes when I'm thinking of MVP, I'm thinking most valuable player, not the best player in the league.
Exactly.
I mean, you look at Mike Trout, and this guy's probably one of the best players in the league,
Yeah.
top 5 players in the league,
Sure.
no doubt. But your MVP, in my opinion, has to come from a team that is in first place, team maybe that wins the division or the wild card, that he is valuable to that team. And on our aspect, we got Jed Lowry, our second baseman, has been very valuable to our team. Blake Trainen, our closer, have been very valuable to our team. So to call an MVP and to call a best player in the league is two different things. So I know from our standpoint that Jed Lowry is probably our MVP of our team, and Blake Trainen at the end of the game has been dominant. He's one of our MVPs on the pitching side. But, we got a lot of pieces on our team that have gotten those guys in those positions. But, I would call those guys MVPs in my book. And
As far as Mike Trout, a comparison that I made last week was comparing him to LeBron in the NBA, in the fact that you could pretty much give both of these guys the MVP every year. Do you think that when it comes to the writers taking these tallies, they kind of like almost just take those guys for granted?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, Trout's in a whole nother league.
Right.
I mean, he's power, speed, good defender, got a good arm out there, steal you a bag, hit you a homer, hits for average, does all the little things. That's what makes superstars. And like LeBron in the NBA is a superstar guy that can carry his team. Trout can carry his team when needed. And, he's just probably the biggest talent in the game going today.
Sure. Now, we've got just a couple minutes left here, but speaking of the Angels, I wanted to ask you specifically about Shohei Ohtani, because we talked about him before the season started, about how you guys would approach him not only at the plate, but on the pitcher's mound. So what have you guys seen from him so far this year?
Well, pitching, he's electric. I mean, he's got an overpowering fastball and one of the best split fingers in the game. He was been troubled by injuries in pitching.
Right.
I think first with a blister, now he's got an elbow issue, and they've backed him off in pitching. But he pitched twice against us his first 2 starts of the season, and he was pretty dominant. He's got a dominating fastball. He's got a split finger fastball where the ball just falls off the table. It's tough to hit. He throws strikes. On the hitting side, he's got power, he's got speed. He's one of the fastest guys in baseball. You don't expect it from a guy 6'5", but it's fun to see him in the league, and I'd like to see him stay healthy and see what this guy can do over the course of a season, both pitching and hitting.
Sure, which is really something we've never seen done before on both aspects of the game. And then finally, looks like the A's are going to be buyers this year, perhaps. Can we maybe venture a guess at what you guys might be going after this year, perhaps?
Well, Billy Bean, our head of baseball operations, he made a comment and said that that the team deserves for the front office to go out and look for players if we thought we needed some players. So I kind of leave all that up to them. Let them go out and figure out what we need. And my job is to coach our pitchers and get them to maximize their potential and do the best job that they can. So if they bring us in more pitching, that's the goal, is to keep the guys that we have on the right path. And if we get some other guys, to get them going and lead us in the right direction. But, our front office does a great job of going out and getting talent, and maybe even getting talent from some spot where people don't think a guy's as talented, and put him in the mix for us. So I'm sure the front office has got some tricks up their sleeve, and they'll go out and get something for us that they think can help push us over the top.
Well, you can't, but I'll speculate. Chris Archer, J.A. Happ, Cole Hamels, those guys would all look good in athletic uniforms. So, Joey Bennett, we appreciate you joining us. Scott Emerson, Oakland Athletics pitching coach. We, of course, appreciate you stopping by again as well. When we come back from the RO Sports Show, we're going to be doing the Ross Rundown. We've got plenty to talk about, including Manny Pacquiao's fight this weekend, the British Open starting today, and of course the World Cup has a brand new champion. All that and more, we come right back to the RO Sports Show Silver Edition. Matt Harrelson and Russell Parker with the RO Sports Show. We're heading into the tunnel here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
No, this is awesome.
Cool, man. A little tight, though. A little tight.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, my man.
This is definitely not where the truckers go through.
No, it's not. But this is where we're heading through. Of course, if you're watching this, you're also watching the RO Sports Show, which is coming to you every Thursday night, 5:30 p.m. across all of the Richmond Observer's platforms. But forget all of that, because we are here inside of Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I can see our seats from here, man.
That's right. We'll be back here at the end of September for the Bank of America 500.
400, actually.
400, excuse me. They took 100 miles off.
But that's because it's our Roval.
Let me pan over here real quick so you can kind of see what we're dealing with here.
This is awesome.
This is very awesome.
Man.
Very glad we decided to do this.
At Richmond Community College, we can prepare you for a high-skill, high-paying career in a variety of fields. From business to education, engineering, utilities, healthcare, criminal justice, information technology, and human services. At Richmond Community College, we can save you thousands of dollars on tuition through our university transfer programs that provide a seamless transition to universities and colleges throughout North Carolina. At Richmond Community College, we are always developing new courses and programs in response to the communities we serve. We offer day, evening, and online courses, and you can now complete 5 curriculum programs entirely online. At Richmond Community College, we believe in helping you prepare for a better life. Richmond Community College. Local college, big impact.
Exit Realty Platinum in Rockingham has listed one of the most beautiful homes in Richmond County. Located in Rockingham on Ledbetter Lake, the home features 4 bedrooms with bamboo floors and a kitchen featuring stainless steel appliances and granite countertops, and a master bedroom that overlooks Ledbetter Lake, along with a spacious tile shower and the attached master bathroom. The open living space leads to the back deck with a perfect view of Ledbetter Lake, and the property features its own boat dock. Want to see this beautiful home? Call Nicole Hayden with Exit Realty Platinum, your source for homes in Richmond and Moore counties.
My name is Jim Leach, and we have been using the Tim Hayden Construction Company for the last several years.
My name is Dave Owens and my wife Beth. We had some damage here at our place in Oldwood Village.
January 2nd, our house flooded upstairs coming through to the first floor.
Tim has responded very quickly with his team of people.
Our repairs went extremely well.
Tim made a very difficult situation much easier for us.
Welcome back to the RO Sports Show Silver Edition. As always, brought to you by First Health Orthopedics. And joining me on the desk are the Ross regulars, Jeremy McKenzie to my right, Russell Parker on the other end. So, guys, it's time to hit the pavement. Time to take the Ross Rundown. So, a lot of sports to talk about, a lot of smaller topics we're going to hit here in the rundown. First off, let's start with boxing, something we really don't talk about a whole lot. But Manny Pacquiao this past Saturday beat Lucas Matthysse. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but Matthysse with a 7th round TKO. Now, Pacquiao is 39 years old. He's coming off a 1-year layoff. Yeah, he's getting up there. His record is 60 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws with 39 KOs, and he actually won the secondary welterweight title belt on Saturday. Now, I say all that to get to this. After the match, a couple of days after that, actually a couple of days ago, he's come out and is challenging Floyd Mayweather to a rematch. Think this is a good idea?
I think it's not a good idea because you already knew what happened a while back, and Floyd Mayweather can't do what he had to do, knocked him out. Hey, why not give him another shot?
All right.
Yeah, I'd say definitely go for it again. Obviously, you get beat, you want to say, hey, I can get back up here and try it again. I mean, the only thing is, will Floyd accept it? And I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either because, well, I take that back. It'll depend on how many dollars they throw at him because his name's not Floyd Money Mayweather for no reason. Now, both of these guys are getting up there. I didn't realize Pacquiao was 39. Mayweather's probably around there too, at 40, something like that. So neither one of them are spring chickens. Although I would imagine if these guys do have a rematch, the money that they're going to throw at him is going to be astronomical. So that may be too much for him to turn down. I don't know that people are necessarily going to want to see this, though. 2 40-year-olds boxing? I mean, what do you think?
I can see this a scenario where it just for the ratings, whatnot have you, and people just give people something to watch.
What do you think? Just kind of a pay-per-view money grab?
I mean, no matter how old they are, they could be 7 years old. I guarantee people want to watch it anyways because it's their names that people want to watch.
Sure, the name is
for.
the draw. It's kind of like when Mayweather fought Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
I know myself, I was like, I'm not watching that because I didn't think it'd be a good match. And technically, I don't really think it was, but at the same time, they made a lot of money and a lot of people watched it. So I guess, what do I know, right? So, I mean, I will be interested to see if Pacquiao and Mayweather get back together, although it probably wouldn't be this year. It'd probably be sometime next year, probably in the summer in Las Vegas or who knows where. Moving on, let's hit the tennis court. So Wimbledon was this past week. Novak Djokovic, otherwise known as the Joker, won the men's singles match over Kevin Anderson 6-2, 6-2, 7-6. So this was his 4th Wimbledon title. Now, I know, guys, we don't really watch a whole lot of tennis, but is Djokovic on the same level as like a Rafael Nadal or like a Roger Federer? I mean, is he up there in the upper echelon of tennis?
Not at this moment. He got a long ways to go to get where he needs to be, but if you keep working at it, he can get right at the top.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably the closest one out of the ones that are competing today.
Yeah, and I mean, Nadal and Federer, again, these are older guys. It doesn't seem like anybody's stepped up and grabbed the tennis crown, so to speak, at a young age. So until that happens, all these younger guys...
It's experience really more than just... I mean, you can have all the athleticism in the world, but you got to know how to use that.
Still, 4 Wimbledon titles. That's not shabby. So on the women's side, Angelique Kerber defeated Serena Williams, who actually came in ranked 25th. Obviously, she's better than that, but beat her in straight sets, 6-3, 6-3 to win the women's single title. Now, Serena came in ranked 25th, and we talked about this in Love It or Hate It last week about her taking some time away to have a baby. Do you think stepping away from the game for a year hurt her chances at winning?
I believe it did because due to her becoming a mother and then at the same time wanting to take care of her responsibilities at home. But yeah, still, Serena's going to be Serena, whatever she do on the tennis court. So I think it was just one of those moments where it was just she just had an off day, and like most athletes gonna have an off day. So all she has to do get her A game back. Shoot, she'll be back where she needs to be.
What do you think? Serena will be back, right?
Oh yeah, after having a baby, I'm sure that a lot of things change for your entire life afterwards. So
You have to get back in shape first of all.
that there and the mentality of everything, having to deal with all of that. So I would say eventually she'll get back in and maybe even win it next year.
All right. Now, from the tennis court to the soccer stadium. Now, of course, FIFA World Cup just ended this past Sunday. France defeated Croatia 4-2 to win the World Cup.
I was right.
You were actually. You picked France from the very beginning,
I
didn't
did.
you?
Yep.
You heard it here, man. Should have put some money on it there.
Should've.
You'd had a little bit of change in your pocket. But this was France's second World Cup title, and the World Cup's been going on for quite a while now. So it shows you how hard it is to win one. That France, which is a perennially big soccer country, has only won 2. But here's my question as far as the World Cup. The next one's going to be in 2022, and it's going to be taking place in Qatar, which is actually spelled Qatar. It's over in the Middle East. Now think about this. The Middle East in the middle of summer. Is weather going to be a factor?
I would think so. I mean,
Yes.
certainly, these guys are always going to be playing like in different conditions year round. So I mean, guys who are more on that, I guess, not the equator, but kind of like a little upper above that, they're going to be perfectly fine with this.
Those countries will be.
But guys like up in Russia and those,
Canada.
Canada. Those guys are going to be the ones that are going to be struggling a little bit.
What do you think? Is heat going to be a factor?
I think it has a lot to do with it, and it's going to play a big factor of how the outcome's going to be.
And of course, the one after that, 2026, we talked about this before. Canada, United States, and Mexico are all pairing up to host that. And it's going to be across a bunch of different cities in all 3 of those countries. And just real quick, think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's the first time for everything.
Yeah.
I think it should have been done this for years.
I agree. And it
Wow.
also takes some of the financial strain off of one country to host these sorts of things, like the Olympics, like the World Cup.
But on the other hand, it might actually financially hurt some of the fans because they're going to have to do a lot of traveling
That's
to
true.
follow their team around. So I guess if anything, the flight world is going to be benefiting.
But think about it this
from
way. Russia is where this World Cup was. And Russia's a big country. There was already a lot of traveling had to be done, so what's the difference?
You got to deal with visas. You got to deal with
Passports,
passports.
All right,
and
fair
stuff
enough.
like that.
lodge, and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. Now, speaking of going overseas, the British Open, or as they call it, just the Open, is starting today at Carnoustie Championship Course over in Scotland. Began this morning. Now, from what I've been reading and from what I've seen, the guys are saying that it's going to be a dry, fast course, which is going to make Carnoustie even tougher than it usually is. Now, Jordan Spieth is the favorite in Vegas to win right now. That doesn't surprise me. This would actually be his second British Open win in a row, which they give away what's called the Claret Jug. So I want to ask you guys, first off, who you taking to win the Open?
Well, I'm going to agree with Vegas. I think Spieth can do it. I believe actually just last year, or a year ago, he actually got booed a little bit from the crowd for winning the Open. So I think he's going to have that chip on his shoulder coming into this one.
All right, what you got, a favorite?
no, none, just the same person.
I'm going to take Zach Johnson, and this is a guy that we don't really hear about, but he is one of the top guys in golf. I was doing some research on it. This guy's short game is outstanding, and I think what you're going to see is some of these long hitters like Spieth, who are going to have that advantage basically negated by these fast, firm fairways, is going to give him a chance to win this tournament. Now, he just shot a 67 and a 64 this past weekend on Saturday and Sunday at the John Deere Classic. So I think he's riding some momentum, and I think he's in a perfect position to win the Open.
Spieth is really good in putting as well. So
Sure.
you have to be careful on him when it comes to that. He knows how to putt.
And obviously, when
Very
it comes to link-style courses like they have over in the UK, putting is huge because the greens are usually bigger than our studio.
Elevation's
and,
crazy.
and there's a lot of up and down. You're absolutely right. And sand traps are
yeah.
a big deal because a lot of times you're standing in one, you can't even see the player because the trap's so deep. Now, let's get into some NBA because I'm sure we're having some withdrawals here. Now, the Summer League, of course, just finished up in Vegas. The Trailblazers beat the Lakers to win the Summer League championship, whatever that's worth. I do want to start with this, though, talking about the Lakers. Josh Hart was named the MVP of the Summer League. This is his second year. He is, of course, out of Villanova. You may remember him. This is the second year in a row that a Laker has won the Summer League MVP. Lonzo Ball won it just last year. Now, Josh Hart led the Summer League with 24.2 points. First of all, that's getting it in. And he's also added to that 5.2 rebounds and 1.5 steals. Now, this is only in 6 games, a small sample size, but nonetheless, the guys that joined him on the All-NBA Summer League team is Hart from the Lakers, Kevin Knox out of Kentucky from the New York Knicks, Colin Sexton, your boy from Alabama with the Cavs, Wendell Carter Jr. from Duke, who's with the Bulls, and Christian Wood, who's originally from UNLV, kind of went away but has come back now. This is his second year. He's played 30 games in 2 NBA seasons. Now, let me continue with the second team, and I'll tell you why I'm doing that. The second team consists of DeAndre Ayton, the first pick out of Arizona, who went to the Phoenix Suns, Jaren Jackson Jr. From Mississippi State, who went to the Grizz, Wade Baldwin from Vandy, who went to the Trailblazers. I'm going to butcher this name, but Saratoslav Mikhailuk from Kansas, who ended up going also to the Lakers. And then finally, Trae Young, the dynamic scorer from Oklahoma, who ended up in Atlanta. Now, Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball won it last year. You got Mika Lewick, who's on the second team. You add LeBron to that team. You still got Kuzma. Are we underestimating the Lakers?
I think it's a scenario with the Lakers here. You got two young rising stars in the NBA is putting up numbers in the summer league, but the question is, can they take that summer league mentality and bring it to the NBA during the regular season and hopefully bring that same mentality to the playoffs? Because this is a different league when you leave the summer and then the
completely different.
Completely different. So you're gonna face top point guards in the league defensively, and you're gonna mess with the top players of their positions, what not have you. Josh Hart and Lonzo Ball already proven they can do that. But I think that scenario can they, and I think by LeBron being in the locker room now, it probably gonna make them better.
Speaking of the Lakers, let me ask you one more question. I saw that LeBron just met Luke Walton for the first time a couple of days ago. Isn't that weird? Does it just now be meeting the coach and you sign with the team?
And I would be thinking where you should, when you get signed to a new team, the GM and the coach would be there.
Yeah, and I know Magic Johnson, that was actually the first time he'd met Magic. That really surprised me. I figured Magic and LeBron go hand in hand in the NBA. But I just found it odd that he was just now meeting Luke Walton for the first time. Now, all of those guys that I mentioned, except for Hart and Christian Wood, are all rookies. So, if you had to take a stab at who the front runner is for Rookie of the Year right now, who would you take?
I would take Josh Hart.
Well, you can't take him. He's a second year. So, anybody but Hart or Christian Wood. So, you've got, I'll read them out here again for you. You've got Kevin Knox from the Knicks, Colin Sexton, Wendell Carter Jr., DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson Jr., Wade Baldwin, Mika Lewick, and Trae Young.
I would say DeAndre Ayton from the Phoenix Suns, who pretty much will form a 1-2 punch with Devin Booker, and this is going to be a scenario where he can take that center position and where he could give 20-10 a night, and pretty much if you get somebody to come and help him out in Phoenix, they make him a lot better. But I see him being Rookie of the Year.
I just want to see how long you sit there and hold that cup to your face before we acknowledge you. So obviously you're taking Sexton, right?
Roll Tide. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and to be honest with you, Sexton would be a good choice. And I hate to say it, Wendell Carter out of Duke's been lighting it up for the Bulls too. I mean, any of these guys obviously were picked high for a reason. I think they all could be the front runners for the Rookie of the Year. Trae Young, though, he's kind of small in stature, but I know he had a lot of comparisons to Steph Curry. Now, obviously, he's not Steph Curry, but he can light it up like Steph, can he?
Yeah.
So he could potentially be one that could win Rookie of the Year. Now, some big NBA news that's happened, yesterday, I believe. So we've been waiting for it to happen. It seems like it's finally going to happen. Kawhi Leonard is heading out of San Antonio. He finally pushed his way out. He is heading to Toronto. Now, here are the parameters of the deal. The San Antonio Spurs get DeMar DeRozan and Jacob Portal. They also get a protected 2019 first-round pick. So as long as it's protected, if it falls between 1 and 20, if it falls outside of that, then it actually turns into 2 second-round picks. Now, in exchange, the Raptors, of course, get Kawhi Leonard and my man out of Carolina, Danny Green. So I guess the simple question is, who got the better part of this trade?
I think Toronto, and I hate to say it, I've been a diehard Spurs fan since '99. I truly believe Toronto got the one next trade because I really see where San Antonio got an all-star point guard DeMar DeRozan who can help out LaMarcus Aldridge and Paul Gasol to make them better around in their formality, and he can learn from the best coach in the NBA, Greg Popovich. But this is a scenario where Kawhi Leonard can go to Toronto, do what he do, represent the East, and Toronto probably could pretty much can probably go to the NBA Finals.
All right, what do you think? Did getting Kawhi and Danny Green, did the Raptors win this trade?
Yeah, I think so. That's some big names for them.
I agree. I mean, I almost feel like the Spurs got taken advantage of a little bit.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan's a good player, but is he as good as Kawhi? I don't think so. So if you just cancel those each other out, Danny Green's better than Jacob Portal. And then I know you get that draft pick, but you never know what you're going to get with a draft pick.
And at the same time with Danny Green, he bringing that three-point specialist, and also he one of the best defenders.
I was about to say, he plays tenacious
defenses in the NBA. So really, you're looking at a scenario where I could see next year where Toronto versus Boston.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question. So now that LeBron's headed to the West, is it Toronto's chance now, or is Boston still a team to beat?
You know, I think Boston's still going to be a team to beat.
So what do you think? Between those two, who would you take, Toronto or Boston?
I would probably going to take my chances on Toronto.
Okay, so we've got a split there. I don't know, man. I would have said Boston, but Kawhi's going to make all the difference in the world. Now, the question I have before we go back to break here, is Kawhi actually going to be invested in playing for the Raptors? Because we saw how badly he wanted to get out of San Antonio, how badly he wanted to go to L.A., that didn't happen. So is he going to, put 100% into playing for Toronto?
I think it's going to be a scenario where he, like I told somebody earlier today on the Facebook comment, what's going to happen is he's going to play that full season in Toronto, put his numbers up like he always do if stay healthy. What's going to happen the next year of the same time next year, unrestricted free agent, he can go anywhere he wants.
He can go anywhere he wants to. And that's when we'll probably see him head to L.A. and pair up with LeBron. So, but that's going to do it for the Ross Rundown. You may have been noticing at the end of each segment, we've been playing a couple of videos that Russell and I took this past Saturday up at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, when we come back from break, we're actually going to show you the entire video of us going around Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval, which we'll explain what all that is when we come back.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got plenty of NASCAR news, and we're also going to be taking a look at the upcoming ACC's football, I guess we'll call it a preview for the entire league. So all that and more when we come back to the RO Sports Show's Silver Edition. Inside of Charlotte Motor Speedway, we're about to hitting the Roval.
Pit road right now. Oh, man. This is where drivers like Earnhardt, Petty, Gordon, they have gone down this track many times. Now we're getting on.
We're on hollowed ground, as they say. All the big names in racing have been on this same road that we are on right now.
There's the Sunoco pit garage.
Let me pan over a little bit so you can catch out some of the pit area here.
We want to make that big screen over there?
We might.
Make a pit stop. We're making a pit stop.
All right, once again, getting ready to hit the track. You excited?
Oh man, you don't understand how crazy this is.
I am very excited, just like you are. And I hope everybody that's watching on the RO Sports Show right now can understand the excitement that we have right now.
It's just unreal right now.
And be able to understand what it is that we're looking at here, because this place is huge. You don't really realize it till you actually get in here.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the pylon up there. Perhaps it doesn't look that big on camera, but this thing is enormous.
And we're not even underneath it. Right now, from the stands, it looks like a little small box.
Yeah.
When you get right underneath that thing, man, you can't even put your arm around it at the bottom. So
No.
imagine how big that is at the top.
I don't think 10 of us could put our arms around it. I don't think Andre the Giant could put his arms around it.
Yeah, probably couldn't. I'm sure he tried though. Oh man, I just can't wait till we get on this track.
So they've got us waiting in line again.
People are taking pictures right now.
Of course. I don't blame them.
We're taking video.
That's right. I don't blame them for taking pictures. But again, we've got video here for the RO Sports Show.
Do you think after we're done, they'll let us do some donuts in the grass?
I hope so. You know what, man? There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, I haven't seen this thing that says we can't.
I see no sign that says we can't pull over right here in that grass and do some donuts. Of course, we were talking about on Good Morning Sand Hills the other day, North Carolina's most famous dish, according to locals, is
some guys back there.
Is glazed donuts. So we may be able to go with that.
Here in just a second.
So there's the pace car heading through.
A couple of cars are on track.
Got some cars behind them. That's going to be us here, hopefully momentarily. Looks like a Corvette up there, maybe.
See a Mustang that blew in there. Ooh,
yep, there's a Mustang.
Now, our number of the car is, of course, 910, right?
No. We
is
changed
tied
it.
on?
So we, of course, are with the Richmond Observer. So we took the R and the
That's
O,
right.
and if you look it up on the keypad, that is 76. So we're going with 76 is our racing number.
The 76 Richmond Observer Toyota Camry.
Yep. Silver on silver.
McNair Auto Sales is the place to buy your pre-owned car, truck, or van. To be the best, it takes big selection, friendly staff, and great pricing. We guarantee a no-hassle buying experience, and financing is available right on site. So come see us today. We're located at 1026 East Broad Avenue in Rockingham. And remember, with over 40 years of experience, you know McNair is the name you can trust.
Willow Tree Antiques and Gifts is all about rustic home decor and gifts. You will always find a variety of unique antiques, vintage, and new items in our shop. Come and see our selection of housewarming, new baby, and wedding gifts. For the man in your life, we have many collectibles, Boker knives, and leather. And ladies love the jewelry, purses, candles, hats, and t-shirts. We also offer a 30-day layaway program. Come and experience shopping at Willow Tree Antiques and Gifts.
To the RS Sports Show, Russell Parker, Matt Harrelson, and it is time to hit the Robo!
Oh, man, here we go. So
Yes.
this is how the driver's going to be exiting out of pit road. They won't be going back onto the track like they usually do. They'll go around this way, I believe.
So we're hitting the same portion that they will, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Actually, right now we are on the road.
Here we go.
Oh, man.
Now, we may do a little commentating here, but there's the big screen, but we're probably just going to let the footage speak for itself, because usually a picture is worth 1,000 words, so this video is going to be worth 1,000,000.
Oh, man.
So they gave us a few rules. We didn't really read any of them. Now, we put our seatbelts on because safety first. They told us you can hit 70 on the oval, 55 on the road course. Other than that, since we don't have a motorcycle and we don't have a convertible, it's pretty much hit the road and go.
And we are going.
So that's what we're doing.
So the driver's going to be wanting to hang out this way a little bit.
Yeah. So of course the pace car is up there ahead of us. The looks pink up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars ahead of us is the pace car. So of course you have to stay behind the pace car, but nonetheless,
We got to stay behind this car, unfortunately.
right? We can't pass the car in front of us. But regardless, man, this is so cool.
This is a very tight turn.
Tight turn here. And of course, right up there is where we're going to be in September. Checkered flag seats.
Oh my God, this feels so awesome. The elevation is going to be an incredible. Like, let's see, that's the original configuration right over there, Matt.
To our left.
Yeah, that's when it's on a NASCAR Heat 2 game.
So this is the same road course that the NASCAR, the big boys, will be hitting, right?
And we are on. Oh, dude.
Now we're on the bank. Hit it, Russell. Now, if you're watching, you can't really understand. We are sideways right now.
Oh my God, that feels awesome.
This is amazing, y'all. Russell Parker, Matt Harrelson with the RO Sports Show joining you. You're watching us on the RO Sports Show, which airs on Thursdays at 5:30. Coming out of the bank here, hitting a straightaway, just like the NASCAR guys do.
Why are we slowing down for? Oh yeah, that's the bus stop.
Because we're about to hit a really steep curve, that's why.
And they're gonna be flying through this, if you can believe it.
Yeah, so we're doing, how high up did
That
we get
was
there?
65 if I went.
So how fast will the NASCAR guys be going through there, you
They're
think?
going to be going at least 100. Not through this little bus stop. That
Right.
would probably be close.
But like,
to
for
it.
instance, around these embankments, how fast you think they'll be going?
Oh, and there's no doubt they'll be hitting over 100.
And that's amazing to think about.
I'm just amazed that we're not sliding down.
Yeah,
this.
gravity alone is working right now.
Like, this is, I'm kind of lost for words right now.
That's all right. You just keep driving and we'll keep recording. Because we get to go do this twice. 2 more times. This is an amazing experience. Of course, Russell set this up. We're actually coming back in September for the Bank of America 400.
Slow down.
And with the tickets, we were allowed to get a voucher to come out here and drive the Roval. So that's exactly what we're doing.
Now we're across the start finish line.
Checkered flag.
We actually got one, too.
We actually have a checkered flag. We're going to pull it out here once we get done. All right.
Now, this is where it's going to get tied up for the drivers for sure, because this is the first one right after the start-finish line.
I don't know about you, man. You played a lot of NASCAR games on like Xbox, PlayStation, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't it have a feel like that to it?
Well, right about now, this feels nothing compared to a video game. It gets the view though. I'm right now.
That's what I mean.
I can't envision, because I've been racing this track last night on NASCAR Heat 2.
Now, is the Roval on there?
Yes, but not this configuration.
Gotcha.
The S's that I was thinking about earlier, those were in it.
By the way, huge flat screen up here.
That's the second largest one in the world. Texas Motor Speedway has the biggest one.
Behind only Texas. Which, coincidentally enough, little factoid for you, the gentleman that designed Texas Motor Speedway from Richmond County.
It's just so surreal.
It is very surreal. And I was mentioning the NASCAR game because as I'm sitting here doing the footage, from this viewpoint, it feels like we're on the video game. Like we're actually in the game.
I've been trying to figure out how to go to this turn right here in particular on the game, and like now it feels like I'm doing the same thing here as well. It's
very surreal. Surreal is the best way to put it, because you can't really describe the magnitude of, first of all, how big this place is.
Now I can actually compare something here to the previous configuration. That feels a lot better than it does in the video game, because it's not as tight of a turn. Let's see if I can get up to 70 now.
Do it.
It says 70 was the limit.
Punch it. It said we could hit 70 on the oval. Oh yeah.
That's 70 right here.
So we just hit 70. You can feel it too. Into the straightaway. Love it. By the way, I'm gonna turn over here just so you can see how fast we're going. We're moving pretty good. As you see the Charlotte Motor Speedway sign go by. Russell Parker in the 76 Toyota.
That feels awesome.
Silver on silver.
Now, Kyle Larson likes to be really high up here against the wall.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. As far as the NASCAR guys, with this being the track, and now we've seen the layout of it, and obviously doing it this way, we get a better feel for the track. Who do you think's, just off the top of your head, who do you think's going to have the best shot at winning this race?
It's still early to call on that, because we really haven't seen much of it other than a couple of testers out here. So right now, probably those guys like Truex. I would say Truex might be the favorite right now.
Okay.
Because he's done a lot of testing out here. I've seen a lot of videos of him out here. I know Bubba Wallace had pushed the limits, and even right here into this turn, he braked so hard that I believe it actually broke it, and he crashed right up into that black wall there.
Now,
this here's gonna be a very dangerous spot.
That's what I was just about to ask you.
Nowhere to go if somebody wrecks. So it's gonna be very interesting to see on the very first turn in the entire race how that pans out.
So we just finished up our second lap.
Now going through here, I can see guys are gonna be coming out like this, but you're gonna see a lot of passing probably right up in this turn. There's a lot of opening right here, so if somebody gets them on the inside of the turn, they'll definitely be able to right there.
And as you can see, there's other cars passing by us. There's a lot of cars out here.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people enjoying the experience just like we are. By the way, how about the Circle K right here in the middle of the infield?
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Circle K. This is a tight turn right here.
I'm gonna sit and go a bit better on the apex here.
Russell,
oh, that was a lot better.
Getting some driving experience here.
Definitely trying to do my best lap time here.
There you go.
I might actually put a counter on the video and see how fast I go on each one.
There we go. Let's definitely do that. Who knows, Russell? You might have a NASCAR career in your future.
Now that would be awesome. I'm out here, guys. Sponsor me.
That's right. Russell right now in the Richmond Observer 76 car. Silver on silver Toyota. Hitting the turn again. Get up to 70, Russell.
There we go.
Booyah!
70 in turn 2.
And one more time in the straightaway. So, when do you think the guys will start coming out here and practicing on this? Or do you think maybe some of them already have, because this is something new to them?
Well, practice would actually be more at the time of race weekend.
Okay.
So I know they're going to have a test session again on next Tuesday. And actually fans can come out here and watch that. So I'm thinking, those guys are going to continue to have advantage, but when the race weekend comes up, they'll have like probably 3 practices, qualifying session, and they'll get to watch some of the Xfinity Series guys race the same configuration as well, because they'll race it as well. And we're coming up on the end here.
Yep, we're almost done. I'm rolling out the checkered flag here. Well, I'll tell you what, man, this has been a great experience. I'm glad that we were able to get this going and work it out. And like I mentioned, we'll be back here at the end of September for the Bank of America 400. But in the meantime,
checker flag.
Checker flag time. Woo! Don't want to cover up the view too much as we cross the finish line.
Woo! Are we going through it again?
I don't know. If we are, then I had to take the checkered flag back down.
Well, I'm following this guy. I'll
tell you what, we're going to keep going until they tell us to stop.
I don't think that first lap we went through, I don't think it counted the full lap.
I don't either.
So this is technically the 4th time going through it.
Well, you know what?
I'm fine with that.
You know what? That was a premature checkered flag, so I apologize for that. But not really, because that means we get to go again.
That's what it feels like. Woo! I should have done a counter.
By the way, Russell, your mom just sent a message saying, "Be careful."
That's what to shoot the video.
And that she loves you. And we'll make sure to let her know that we are out here being very responsible and yet having a great time. You get a shot over here about everybody can see a little bit of the infield and how fast we're going here.
This is just awesome.
It is. Of course, you're watching the RO Sports Show. As always, brought to you by First Health Orthopedics. Matt Harrelson and Russell Parker on the Roval inside of Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I'm trying to do this where I don't have to use my braking through the road course.
I wish you had an emergency brake and we could fishtail through here. Looks like they're slowing us down a little bit, Russell.
Or somebody's just too scared to go.
Maybe that checkered flag wasn't premature. Although I'm not seeing the pace car slowing down any.
No, I think that one guy just took a little bit to go.
Let's see, slowing down on the embankment, not a good place to do it.
If you're too scared to be up here, get down.
Yeah, you need to go find another thing to do on your Saturday.
Now, the speed that we went through here about 60, 70, that's the speed that they go on the pace laps.
Yes. So they will be almost doubling what we're doing.
Pretty much, yeah. It's going to be so awesome to see this race when it comes up.
Of course, their car is a little more better equipped for this.
Slow her down.
Yeah, they're slowing us down.
Cops out here, they're going to come get us.
Somebody's getting a ticket.
Now, back in the 80s, one guy actually did steal one of the pace cars at Talladega. And just
really?
rode around the track. Yeah, they finally got him. They put like a blockade on the track.
So they're sending us in. Woo! So I guess that was a good time for us to hit the checkered flag. So I'll throw it up here again.
Yeah.
Checkered flag. And we are finished. So once again, we appreciate everyone watching on the RO Sports Show. Matt Harrelson and Russell Parker getting done here with the Roval inside of Charlotte Motor Speedway.
That was fun.
That was awesome. So as we're finishing up, anything else you want to add, Russell, before we send it back to the desk?
Well, I certainly can't wait, just to even watch the video, and it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody when they come out here on September 30th to watch this race. I think it's going to be a really good race for everybody.
I agree, and I just like you, I'm excited to come back here. Let's see, in just a couple of months, basically, September 30th will be the Bank of America 400, again, right here inside of Charlotte Motor Speedway. The big boys, instead of us, will be on the Roval. So for Russell Parker and Matt Harrelson, we're going to send it back to the desk where you're going to see Russell Parker and Matt Harrelson. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Tammy Benson, and this is Nancy Bowling. And we're here to tell you about the wonderful service at hospice and what they have to bring. From the nursing services to the medical director, to in-home aides, to a chaplain, to bereavement, to everything you can imagine they were there to take care of it.
I cannot think of how the experience with hospice could have been any better professionally, spiritually.
And welcome back to the RO Sports Show Silver Edition. Of course, this is our 25th episode, brought to you by First Health Orthopedics. And as we came back from break, before we went to break, you saw about a 10 or 12 minute video of Russell and myself up in Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Roval. So, Russell, explain to those watching what exactly the Roval is.
So a Roval is this is a brand new concept, sort of. At least the name is trademarked. But a Roval is a mixture of a traditional oval racetrack and a road course. So there's a road course built into the oval. So kind of the way it is, it goes from the start-finish line, it goes into the infield, loops back around, comes back onto the track. They go all the way back around the two oval turns, and they'll have a little bus stop in the middle of that, and then it goes back through it again.
Yeah, and I know it sounds cliche, but it's really tough to describe the feeling we had driving and riding around this thing.
Yeah.
Now, you were driving, I was filming, and I remember saying that it's almost like being on a video game, and it very much felt that way. Now, there were some rules. We mentioned it on the video. One, of course, was you had to wear your seatbelts. That's a given.
Yeah.
But you had to go, you couldn't go faster than 55 on the road course, faster than 70 on the oval. Now, we may have tipped over that a little bit, but hitting those banks on 70 miles an hour was crazy.
So, like, the best way I've been able to describe it to people was that, you're trying to sit up straight when you're on those banks.
But you can't.
But your car is sideways, and you're kind of like, your back's like, you're trying to force your back upward, but your back's won't go this way because of gravity. But it was so cool just to be on that.
And then, of course, you had the big screen back there that's larger than our building here.
Yeah.
And again, you don't realize how big Charlotte Motor Speedway is till you get inside of it, and then especially on the track. And one thing that I've compared it to on the radio is, for instance, I'm a Braves fan, and it would be like if I went down on the field before the game started and took batting practice on the field, or if I went to Bank of America Stadium and kicked field goals on the field before the game started. It's similar to that, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Going out there hitting the tennis ball in Wimbledon Stadium or something like that.
Yeah.
Something big is just something that it's hard to describe, but it makes you feel like I am in this.
Yeah, because you are. Now, we're going to look forward to the next race, but talking about Charlotte, because obviously we're going to that race at the end of September. That'll be here before we know it.
And that will be one of the biggest things about that race is that it's actually an elimination race for the playoffs.
Okay,
so
so even
four
bigger
drivers
implications.
getting out. Yeah.
So, we were discussing that while we were going around the course, although, we were a little torn between talking and actually looking around and experiencing it. I think one of the questions I asked you, first of all, is who should be able to benefit from this new Roval?
I mean, honestly, I've been watching. They had practice or a test session on Tuesday, and I watched some of that. And really, those guys, even the veterans of this track, Martin Truex Jr. and AJ Allmendinger, who are very good at road courses, even they're struggling some. One of the biggest turns that they're having issues with is turns 15, 16, and 17. It's like a bus stop on the front stretch. They're having a lot of trouble with that. They're also having trouble on turn 4, which actually doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's like a traditional turn. But they're sliding across that, hitting tire barriers. Some guys are locking up their brakes and they're going straight into tires. So a lot of issues going on with guys. They're still trying to figure out how to work this, and they will not get back on this track until September 28th, which is the first practice.
Perhaps they should have taken some lessons from you. Now, I know we were going a lot slower than they were, but you were killing it, man.
Now, I found out watching the test session that some of those guys were going about 50, 60 through those road course turns. So we're going about the same speed as they were.
Yeah, okay. And I saw a video where one guy crashed into one of the tire barriers, and I was like, well, he just forgot to turn.
His brakes locked up, and that kept him from being able to turn his car.
Right. And, it'll be interesting to see how those guys are able to navigate this, because none of them have really, besides the practice sessions, none of them have seen anything like this, really, have they?
No, they haven't. The closest that we probably had to a race similar to this would be, there's some fast parts to it, so you might compare it to Sonoma. There's some big parts that are really faster there, but as you get in the slower parts of it, it's kind of more like the inner loops of Sonoma. So there's some characteristics from that, but Daytona does this with their 24-hour race with I forgot who they are, but they have a 24-hour endurance race, which is a bunch of different guys that race in it at once. But they'll have an inner loop inside Daytona and do that. But it's unique. It's never been done before in NASCAR, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out.
Absolutely, and I'm really glad that we were able to go and take part in that because with this being our silver show, we had Scott on here at the Major League Baseball level. We went to Charlotte and drove on it. We were like, this is our 25th show. We got to blow it out and no holds barred. So I'm really glad that we were able to do that. And again, I'll be interested to head down there in September and check that race out.
The Thursday of that sports show, the sports show of that week, I'm going to have a breakdown analysis of the whole track. So I'll give you like a really full out. Now, how is this going to be for these guys on race day? So
there you
be looking out for that.
Only place you can find that is right here on the RO Sports Show. Now, actually, let's look back first. The guys were in Kentucky this past weekend. Now, you had Kyle Busch winning this on your list of 10. Sorry, buddy, but you're 0 for 3 right now.
0 for 3.
However, Truex took the checkered flag. So how was he able to accomplish that?
Well, and I think the day started out with a fan screaming at him, "Don't win today!" And he won that day. So he did pretty good in the first stage. Him and Ryan Blaney were going at back and forth. Blaney was actually impressive to me, coming up like he was towards the end of these stages and even winning a stage. But he didn't quite get there in the end. He did finish second behind Truex. Truex, his car was so fast that when he got out of his car kept wanting to go. His car did not stop. I think he forgot to brake it or something because it wanted to roll on. But he just dominated as usual.
Yeah. And then real quick, because we got to change subjects here, but we're heading to New Hampshire next.
Yep.
Now on your list, you've got Denny Hamlin. You sticking with it?
I am going to stick with it. I mean, he knows what he's doing when he gets up there to the Grant State. I also think Logano could be a threat to it, though. It's kind of his home track, so I can certainly see him or even Kyle Busch doing it. I don't really see Harvick doing it this time around. He's had some wins there, but he's also kind of struggled there as well. So it's going to be a toss-up between Hamlin and Logano for me, but I'm going to stick with my list, and I'm going to go Hamlin.
All right, well, hopefully you'll hop on the board with a W this week. I'm rooting for you, man. Denny Hamlin drives the what car?
Drives the number 11 FedEx.
There you go.
Toyota.
So be looking for the FedEx car in Victory Lane. Now, let's move away from NASCAR and head back towards football. Now, over the last few weeks, we've taken a look at Oklahoma Sooners' upcoming schedule. We took a look at the Clemson Tigers, the Georgia Bulldogs, and last week we finished up with Alabama, who, of course, those were your 4 college football playoff teams. So we thought there's about 5 weeks left before the first game of the season. There's Power 5 conferences, so let's start taking a look at the conferences. So we're going to start locally with the ACC. Now, we got a graphic here, don't we, that's got all the teams in the Atlantic and in the Coastal. Now, Russell, let me start with you first. Who do you have winning the Atlantic, and who do you have winning the Coastal?
Well, for me, the Atlantic. Now, I know I went back a couple weeks ago and I said Clemson wasn't going to be very, very good this season, but I do only have them losing once.
Okay.
And that would be the NC State, and that would be the only loss, so they would probably be in for the Atlantic Division.
Right. I think I had them taking that loss, too.
Yeah. And I also got for the Coastal Division, I do have Miami, so it's going to be a ACC rematch when we get around to that time again.
All right. Now, I also, of course, took Clemson and took Miami. Just simply because, Clemson is Clemson. They didn't lose really anybody. They were able to keep a lot of guys on defense. Miami, only up and up. So I'd be interested to see how they do this year. What about you, Jeremy? Who you got winning each conference, or each division, I should say?
Okay, for the Atlantic, I would go with Clemson again. And then for the Coastal, I'm going to go out of the original, out of the U, and go with Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, another one of those up and up teams. Justin Fuentes, who came over from Memphis, is their new coach. Of course, Bud Foster's still the defensive coordinator there. Feels like he's been there for 30-something years.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you guys this. What about the Tar Heels, Jeremy? Or let me start with you, Russell. Where do you got the Tar Heels falling in?
Well, I still got them at the bottom of the division. Yeah, I only see them getting maybe 3 wins out of the season. That's going to be very late in the season where they have to play against Georgia Tech, Duke, and Western Carolina. I don't really see them getting it done. anywhere else. So.
Yeah, I've got them going 5-7, which could be generous. What about you, Jeremy? What do you foresee for the Tar Heels this year?
I think I'm going to go on a limb and get them some kind of improvement. I would say 6 wins this year because I truly believe they will improve as the season go along. They might have some little bumps in the road on offense and defense, and then the schedule they got right now. But I can see Tar Heels improve this year.
I just can't see it with them continuing to have Larry Fedora there.
Well, they went 3-9, so I mean, there's really only one way to go, and that's up.
And I don't see them going any up. I think they're going to stay the same.
All right. Well, last year I wrote a column about this a couple weeks ago. Last year we had a lot of injuries. Mm-hmm. We had an unfavorable schedule. Now I don't want to make excuses. I know that sounds like that, but when injuries ravage your team like they did the Tar Heels, it's tough to come back from that. So. We had a decent recruiting class. Fedora's not a bad coach. North Carolina is always going to be a basketball school, but at the same time, I feel like we should be at least decent at football, and I think this will be a year where you can make a comeback. So 6 wins will get them a bowl game. So I think at this point,
nowadays you get 5 wins.
Well, that's true, which I'm totally against.
Yeah, that's why I said they will improve as the season go along. And I think this Coach Fedora's year where he can get a bowl game and probably could save his job.
Now, as far as Tobacco Road teams are concerned, I've got Duke coming in 3rd in the Coastal. I've got Tar Heels coming in 6th in the Coastal. And then on the other side in the Atlantic, I've got NC State finishing 4th and Wake Forest finishing 6th. Now, on the Atlantic side, let me ask you, Russell, about Florida State, which kind of is the elephant in the room because Florida State every year, except for last year, is a really good team.
Yeah.
Where do you see them falling in line?
I've got them at 8-4. Their losses will be coming from
8-4, huh?
Yeah, I got them losing to Miami. That will be at Miami.
Right.
They'll lose to Clemson.
Okay.
They'll lose at NC State. I think NC State's going to be the threat to a lot of these big name teams this year. And at Notre Dame, it's going to be hard to win down in South Bend. So.
Well, you know what? 8-4. I was scoffing at you, but I can see with those losses right there, 8-4 is very plausible. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, Louisville is another team that's interesting. Of course, they lost Lamar Jackson. He went to the NFL to the Baltimore Ravens. Do you think, Jimmy, let me ask you, with them losing Lamar Jackson, is this going to be a down year for Louisville?
With Bobby Petrino being the head coach, I think it will not. I think they will try to rebuild at the quarterback position. And if Louisville continues what they need to do with their recruiting class and the people that got returning, I think they could compete.
Now, Louisville, and I'm going to pass it back to you, Russell, here in just a second, but Louisville has a quarterback. I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Pass, P-A-S-S, which if that's not the perfect quarterback name, I don't know what is. Apparently, he's a pretty good passer, though, no pun intended, so I'm not so sure we're going to see as big a drop-off with Lamar Jackson leaving as people think. But what were you going to say, Russell?
I mean, I think they probably won't be able to start the season off right because they'll probably lose to Alabama in the opening.
That's true.
That's a neutral site game.
Which could torpedo their season much the same way we saw Florida State last year.
It could, but if they don't let it get to them, I think they can get through the rest of the season fine with maybe getting out of their 3 losses. Once again, they'll probably lose to FSU. And they're going down into Clemson territory. That's going to be hard. And once again, I've got NC State winning another one over another big team.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You've got Clemson winning the Atlantic. Mm-hmm. Who do you have 2, 3, and 4?
2, 3, and 4. Well, I got NC State at 9-3.
Okay.
I don't really have them ranked in order. Okay. I got records, but
well, so if you've got Clemson only losing 1, that's them first. Wolfpack losing 3, that puts them in second. Florida State losing 4, that puts them in third.
Actually, that'd be tied with Louisville. Louisville 8-4.
So you've got NC State coming in behind Clemson.
Yeah, I think they got a strong team
with an upset over Clemson.
Yep.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, NC State has a player, one of my players to watch. I don't know if you guys looked up any guys to watch for later on this season. Before we get to that, though, Virginia Cavaliers to me is a team that I think could be a surprise team. And let me see if I can pull up the thing that I was looking up about a guy on their team who
I think
I can't find it on here, but they've got a quarterback that was a transfer. Now, Virginia is always known for having a good offensive line, but this year their defense is really good. Their back seven is really good. They got a couple of cornerbacks that are really good. So I think even though I've got Virginia as being coming in at 5th in the Coastal, I think they could surprise some people. Now,
I could they could rank at number 3. They could take over Duke.
Probably could. I mean, I've got Duke 3, Georgia Tech 4. I mean, a lot of these are interchangeable in my opinion. Yeah. Now, a couple of players that I have to watch for. One is NC State's quarterback, Ryan Finley, who I actually, the very first matter of opinion, shameless plug, that I wrote for this company was about it's time to take a look at Ryan Finley as an NFL prospect. The guy's 6'3", he's 185. He was a Boise State transfer before he came into NC State. Last year alone, he was 312 for 479, which is a 65% completion percentage. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
He threw for 3,518 yards, had 17 touchdowns to only 6 picks, had another 3 touchdowns on the ground to go along with 69 rushes and another 194 yards. So I think, the Wolfpack lost Bradley Chubb to the draft, who was a dynamic defensive end. I think it's not going to matter because I think this year offense is going to rule the roost for NC State. With that being said, another player for me to watch is on the coastal side is Georgia Tech's quarterback, Taquan Marshall. Now, obviously, we know Georgia Tech runs that crazy triple option. They have since Paul Johnson's been there. It's tough to defend. This guy's an exciting quarterback, and with that run-first offense from Paul Johnson, they've actually got a couple of running backs that are going to help Marshall out. Offensive line is great. I think Georgia Tech is a team that perennially could win 10 games, could win 3 games. You really
I've only
don't
got
know.
him at 4 wins.
Yeah, so
I
again,
got about 5.
But again, that's a couple of guys that I think are players to watch. So.
Okay.
Anything else you guys want to add?
Well, I've got 2 players that we can watch.
Sure.
Kelly Bryant, quarterback for Clemson.
Okay.
I think he's going to be. He's going to actually, and not really just about him being on the field, but also he's probably going to be in a quarterback battle with
Absolutely.
Trevor Lawrence.
Absolutely.
Because Bryant did good this past season with a 64.7 completion. Knows how to even run the ball some. But with the way he performed against Alabama in the playoffs, that could very well.
And his
keep
spring
him
game was left a little to be desired.
Yeah. So, I think Lawrence could definitely come in and give him a run for his money. We might see a new quarterback starter this year.
And, of course, Lawrence going in as the number 1 quarterback recruit in all of the country. Broke a bunch of Deshaun Watson's records down in Georgia. Anybody else to watch?
I've also got Jaquan Johnson, the safety from Miami. I think he's going to help out that defense there, getting them back into the conference championship. He had 4 interceptions and 96 tackles last season, as well as 3 sacks for loss. He's also the ninth fastest safety right now in the nation too.
Wow,
so he's fast.
Absolutely, and speed kills on defense. Now, before we go back to break, I've got Clemson and Miami meeting in the ACC championship. I've got Clemson winning it all. As far as the ACC, you've got Clemson VTech. Who you taking?
I'll take Clemson.
All right, what about you? Clemson, Miami. Who you got?
Miami.
Oh, going with the upset.
That's the reason why I say Clemson won't make it to the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Well, you got convictions, you stick with them. So, but that's going to do it for NASCAR and for our ACC football preview. When we come back next week, we're going to start taking a look at the SEC's upcoming football schedules, and I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about Bama, so make sure and get ready for that. Matter of fact, both of these guys have Bama shirts underneath their college shirts. Don't break those out. But again, that's going to do it for this segment. Yeah, Cam Newton style. Who went to Auburn?
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. But that's going to do it for this segment. And when we come back, we're going to finish out our Silver Show, just like we do every other show, with our big impacts of the week. We're going to take a look at our Ross poll and then finish it up with Love or Hate It, all that more when we come back to the RO Sports Show's Silver Edition. And welcome back to the RO Sports Show's Silver Edition. And guys, it's time to end it like we always do. Let's start with our big impacts of the week. Of course, brought to you by Richmond Community College, whose motto is Local College, Big Impact. Russell, let's start with you. Who's your big impact this week?
Well, I've got a big impact here for the Richmond Raider football team. Malik Stanback is going to be missing most likely the entire season now after having an ACL injury. So that's a big impact on the entire team there.
Absolutely, because he was very integral to the Raiders' offense last year. So not having him it's probably going to hurt them a little bit. Of course, they do have, Brian Till, the coach, was saying they do have some athletes that can step in and take his place, but that was going to be one of your senior leaders on offense. So, moving on, who you got, Jeremy? Big impact of the week.
My big impact for the week is congratulations to Donnell and his lovely wife Shavella for hosting a wonderful 7th annual football camp at Richmond Senior High School, which we had over 300-some people there, including some former some NFL stars and some also who retired as well, and some college players and some former NFL football alumni. Congratulations again, my classmate.
Yeah, and of course, it's really great that Donnell continues to come back year after year and host these camps for the kids, and so of course, big impact there.
And I heard you got to meet one of our favorite players.
Yeah, I did. I actually met Mark Ingram, played for the Saints, and also a Alabama alumni and a Heisman Trophy winner.
Right, former Heisman Trophy winner here in Richmond County, so that's really cool. Of course, Donnell, not to be outdone, coming off of a Super Bowl victory as well.
Yes.
So a lot of big-time names here in Richmond County over the weekend. Now, I'm going to go to the baseball diamond for the second time in 3 nights earlier this week. The Richmond Rattlers baseball team, which is their summer travel team, reigned supreme over Union Pines in mercy rule fashion, blowing past their competition 13-3 for the team's 8th straight victory in the Central Carolina Scholastic Summer League. So, big ups to them, beating down teams. They actually started the season 0-2 and are now 8-2. So there you go, big impact, 8 wins in a row. Now, let's move it on to the second part of our last segment. Of course, as we do each week on Monday nights, we put out a Ross poll that you can find on the RO Sports Show's Facebook page. Most times you can find it using the hashtag Ross poll. Now, this week we went to the NFL. So, New Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper said that he was, quote, contractually obligated to keep the Jerry Richardson statue outside Bank of America Stadium. Now, the reason this is significant is because Richardson, of course, was accused by Panthers employees of sexual harassment in the workplace, which is the whole reason he ended up having to sell the team to begin with. So, the question we put up this week is, should the Jerry Richardson statue remain or should it be taken down? Now, it finished up yesterday. 60% said that they should leave it up. 40% said take it down. What do you think?
This is going to be a scenario where I see give people flowers while they can smell them, because Jerry Richardson was an integral part of the Carolina Panthers franchise, who pretty much gave all his money investing into something which now Carolina Panthers one of the rising teams in the NFL. And I think, to me, by him where he is today, that's how Carolina Panthers are so successful.
So, you think they should leave it up?
Leave it up.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say leave it up only because, I mean, it is there for the Panthers, not for what he's done outside of that. I think it's completely wrong way it did to begin with, but that there was for what he has done with the Panthers. So
that's a good point. Of course, actually this is all, at this point, a moot point because it was contractually obligated. The thing's not going anywhere anyway. The reason I'm going to say hate it is because the fact that it is contractually obligated. Why did Richardson put this in the contract that no matter who bought the Panthers, his statue has to stay up? I mean, to me, that's egotistical a little bit. Would you agree?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
that's one way to hate it. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, so, and I mean, obviously, sexual harassment, there's no place for that. And I also agree that the statues stand for what happens on the field as opposed to what happens off the field. But there comes a point where all of that ties in together, in my opinion. But again, at this point, the statue's not going anywhere because it was written into the contract. But again, if you want to get in on the conversation, go on the RO Sports Show's Facebook page on Monday nights to find the Ross poll. But go on there every day because every day we've got polls, power rankings, videos, all kinds of original content. So plenty of stuff for you to peruse. Now, guys, let's finish it up with Love It or Hate It, just like we always do. And we've got 10 things to talk about tonight. So let's start with football. We talked plenty times about Terrell Owens and his saga with the Hall of Fame. So now the Hall of Fame says anything you can do, I can do better. Hall of Fame will not honor Terrell Owens individually at the ceremonies. Love it or hate it?
I'm going to say love it because the thing, if he doesn't want to be there, why bother to talk to him about it?
Right.
I know I said in the past that I like the fact that he's kind of going out to a school to kind of do a presentation there.
To Chattanooga, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, and he's also distancing them too. So
yeah,
I say hate it because my thing is you're throwing away an induction that you'll never get back. Like they honoring you for your contributions on the field,
right?
And what not taking this kind of not going to Canton to do it. No.
Look, I think this all started because T.O. was being T.O. and he's talking about egotistical. That's just what he is.
Yeah.
And so now it kind of seems like it's going to come back to bite him in the butt a little bit. And I could, I don't feel sorry for him whatsoever. So as far as the Hall of Fame not honoring him individually, I love it.
Yeah.
So sticking with football, of course, running back DeMarco Murray has decided to call it quits and is retiring after 7 seasons. Love it or hate it?
I love it. Enjoy your retirement while you're healthy.
All right.
So I think that's kind of short for 7 years, but I'm gonna say I love it if you got the money.
For a running back, it's actually not.
Really?
Running backs' careers in the NFL on average only last about 3 years because they get knocked around so much. Now, this surprised me. I'm going to say hate it just because DeMarco Murray led the league in rushing yards like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and
of course he was behind Dallas offensive line, who was the best at the time, but nonetheless.
And also he led the league in rushing 2 years ago when he was in his first year full season in Tennessee.
Okay, yeah, but maybe both of those is what I'm thinking about. So yeah, I mean maybe it's a little too early, but again, it's your life. If you want to retire, go ahead and do that. Sticking with football, Brandon Cooks, who was traded from New England to the LA Rams, has signed a 5-year, $81 million extension with the Rams. Love it or hate it?
Love it.
I say love it too. I mean, not only are you on a team where you can potentially play, you also get the money to do it too. So.
I'm surprised the Patriots traded him to begin with. But
yeah, I was real surprised because you get ready, you playing Tom Brady. You could be Tom Brady coach.
And I mean, I love it for Cooks and for the Rams because Cooks is in a position now where he can be, with Jared Goff there, be one of the top wide receivers in the game. He's also getting paid, and the Rams, I mean, on paper right now, are the team to beat, even with the Eagles in the NFC.
And also, Brandon Cooks in his prime right now.
Yeah, so do you guys agree? Are the Rams the team to beat, or is it still the Eagles?
I says the Rams.
Or somebody else, perhaps.
I would say the Rams on paper, yeah, they're the team to beat.
All right.
I hate to say that for my Panthers, but the Rams
I'm
team
on
to
the
beat.
flip side here and say Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, you could go either way, but neither one's a bad team. Let's see. Let's move into basketball. So Jimmy Butler has said no to a Timberwolves offer of 4 years, $100 million. Love it or hate it?
I love it because you in the prime of your career, you can get a bigger extension somewhere else.
You think you can get more money?
Yes.
All right. Love it or hate it?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with him. Well, I hate it.
Well, actually, I think he loved it, man.
Oh, well, love it, whichever one.
You look tired, man.
I wasn't quite sure on this one, so that was a big one.
Jimmy Butler, I'm gonna love this too because I agree. 4 years, $100 million. I know 25 or whatever that averages out to is a lot of money, but he could probably get more than that somewhere else.
In a bigger market,
he could end up in LA. I could definitely see him pairing up with LeBron with the Lakers. Now, let's see. We got any more basketball? Yes, we do. Isaiah Thomas agrees to a 1 year, $2 million deal with the Nuggets. Love it or hate it?
I'm going to say hate this on this deal because Isaiah Thomas, you was an all-star 2 years ago, and now they're giving you the veterans minimum. Come on, man. You could have get bigger deal somewhere else.
All right, love it or hate it, Russell?
I'm going to say love it because maybe this isn't where he wants to actually stay. Maybe he eventually wants to go somewhere else. So.
No, there's no way he wants to stay in Denver.
Really.
He was talking about getting $30 million a year a couple years ago, and now he's literally getting the veterans minimum.
Yeah.
Injuries hurt him. This really stinks for him. I'm going to say hate it for him because, again, 2 years ago when he was in Boston, this guy was averaging 30 points a game.
Yeah.
So it's been a steep fall off for Isaiah Thomas. But this is one of those prove-it deals where he can have a good year in Denver and bring his value back up.
And compare it with Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, absolutely.
See how that happens.
I'm like in love with in Denver because I've talked about him several times. One more for basketball. LeVar Ball, who we all know and some love, some hate, says that he, in his heyday, would beat LeBron one-on-one. So he's actually come out and said this about Michael Jordan, too, and everybody laughed at him. But him saying he could beat LeBron, love it or hate it?
I'm going to love it because LeBron, if you ever get a one-on-one with that rookie.
Please whip him.
Please whip him real good, trust me.
Yeah, this is where I say I LOL that.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to say love it.
I'm going to say love it just because of the hilariousness of
it
it.
is.
Because LeVar Ball, even in your heyday, bro, you ain't beating LeBron. You ain't beating Michael Jordan. You probably can't beat your sons. So that'll do it for that. Now, let's get into racing real quick. So, Kyle Larson missed driver introductions at Kentucky and was forced to go to the back of the field. Love it or hate it?
I'm going to say hate it.
All right.
I'm going to say love it on this one because the fans are out there to go out there and see their drivers. And, you know, even if when they're coming out, you're going to have that reception, whether it's booing or cheering. Drivers, you know, the drivers got to deal with that. They got to put up with it. Larson's going to have the fans on his out and see why I'm not sure why he missed it to begin with.
Right.
But it's mandatory. And if you don't do it, you got to have some kind of punishment for it. So put him at the backfield. You know, he's fine too because he started up front to begin with. He knows exactly what he's doing. So.
I'm going to say love it too because I agree. This is part of the deal. It comes with the territory. You need to be out there for the driver introductions, and if you're not, that's the punishment for it. Also with NASCAR, one you brought up before we came back from break, Brad Keselowski wants to change how the champion is crowned in NASCAR. So explain this to us for those of us that don't follow NASCAR as closely.
Okay, so Brad wants to change it from where we have no more playoff format. He wants it to be where you still get the stage wins and also the race wins, but the way a champion will be crowned at the end of the season was whoever has the most wins is champion. Now, if there's a tie, whoever has the most stage wins would break that tie. Now, if there's an even number of those, the winner would be crowned by whoever finished first or whoever finished ahead in the last race of the season. So, simplifying everything is what he's pretty much trying to do here.
Is it? Because that sounded confusing.
It might be confusing.
Actually, I will say this. I say love it because I agree that most wins should be the winner, right? Isn't that what it boils down to? Whoever has the most wins wins the championship.
But how about if you win all 5 of those wins, get all 5 of those wins at the end, towards the end of the season, but you did completely crap at the beginning of the season? Or vice versa.
That sounds like the college football playoff.
Or vice versa. So, I think it should be based on the entire season. Consistency should be also there.
So you say hate it then?
I'm going to say hate it.
All right. And then a couple more here. The St. Louis Cardinals in baseball have fired their manager, Mike Matheny. I'm not sure how long he's been there. It's been a few years and has been a pretty successful manager. So the Cardinals firing him. Love it or hate it?
I'm gonna say love it because it's probably time for the St. Louis Cardinals front office to move on from him, and then he probably can get hired somewhere else.
All right.
I'm gonna say hate it.
You guys need to watch more baseball, man. I can't keep bringing Scott on the show every week. No, I'm just kidding. This one surprised me. I'm going to say hate it. Mike Matheny was a good manager. I compare this just to bring it into your world is Dwayne Casey. It's like, why do you fire this guy when just not too long ago he was your manager of the year? So this may come back to bite St. Louis in the rear end again, and I'll be curious to see who they bring in to replace him. And then finally, guys, let's finish up the Silver Edition. After a 3-year suspension, Hulk Hogan, brother, has been reinstated into WWE's Hall of Fame. Russell, let's start with you. Love it or hate it?
I'm going to say love it because, I think that having him back in it, he was a staple of how entertainment is done in WWE and other promotions. So I think having him back in it, I know what he did was wrong, but, at the same time, this is honoring what he has done for the business. So
to me, that was all background noise anyway. But what do you think? Being reinstated, love it or hate it?
I love it because we all know who Hulk Hogan is and the way he paid for wrestling, period.
Yeah.
And my thing was paid away not only for entertainment wise, but how he took the sport to a whole different plateau.
I agree. And to me, it's not wrestling, it's not the Hall of Fame without Hulk Hogan. Yeah. And, one of the first shows we ever did, we sat here and talked about our Mount Rushmores of wrestling. Mm-hmm. I don't know if all of us had Hulk Hogan on there, but all of us at least mentioned him when it comes to your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, because he the one made WCW the way it was because of him.
Exactly. And, of course, everybody remembers WrestleMania 3 when he picked up Andre the Giant.
Oh, yeah.
And those lists just go on and on when it comes to Hulk Hogan.
You can find some really cool pictures of that at Rankin Museum.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, to me, yes, Hulk Hogan, did some shady type things. Yeah. But, again, talking about the statue thing, as far as being in the Hall of Fame, that's what you do inside the ring, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So, I'm okay with him being reinstated. And guys, that's going to do it. We have passed episode 25. The Silver Edition is over with.
Episodes.
25 more, guys, and we'll be on the Gold Edition. So be looking forward to that as we count down to 50. But once again, we appreciate Joey Bennett joining us earlier. We also appreciate, of course, Scott Emerson, the Oakland Athletics pitching coach, for joining us on the desk tonight. And, of course, also, Russell, appreciate you hooking us up with the vouchers to go racing on the Charlotte Roval.
We'll be back in September.
That's right. Of course, we will have some more video from that, hopefully. So, But for myself, Matt Harrelson, Russell Park on the other end, Jeremy McKenzie to my right, you've been watching the RO Sports Show. Plenty of ways to watch it, and it's all free. So for, I guess, next time, next Thursday, 5:30 p.m., come back and see us. Everybody have a wonderful week.